Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington keeps resurfacing. A bottomless pit said to be a pathway to the paranormal. KOMO4's Denise Whitaker heads east in search of the hole.
On the dusty, windswept ridge of Manastash, Mel Water's property harbors an incredibly mysterious hole in the ground, masquerading as a well. It was repurposed as a trash dump by previous owners, but something sinister lurked beneath that set Mel's dogs on edge and his radio crackling with bizarre signals.
He said, "This is an endless hole." And people get it confused with what I call the devil's hole.
The hole stretched infinitely downward, confirming Mel's suspicions. What unholy secrets lay buried in that forsaken hole? And if it truly is bottomless, where does it lead? And what horrors could come out of it? Join us as we uncover 15 facts about Mel's hole that terrify the whole world. Number 15. One man's facts that sparked an enduring legend. In 1997, Art Bell, the renowned host of Coast to Coast AM, a radio program delving into the mysterious and unexplained, got a call. This man was the original host of the show, starting in 1988 until his retirement in 2000. He would return as show host, retire, and return several times until his death in April 2018. Now, the call on the morning of February 21st, 1997, wasn't business as usual. Coast to Coast AM, an American late-night radio talk show that dealt with a variety of topics relating to either the paranormal or conspiracy theories, was in for a shock. The hosts and listeners were used to strange stories, but the day's caller took several levels higher. Mel penned a peculiar account regarding a mysterious void on his property in Manastash, Washington. Waters, in a lengthy conversation with Bell by phone, talked about a mysterious hole in the ground on his rural property about 9 miles west of Ellensburg. According to Mel, this hole was unfathomable in depth, instilling such fear in the local wildlife that birds avoided flying over it. Intrigued by Mel's claims, Art Bell promptly invited him onto his show, thus introducing to the world what would later be known as one of the most enigmatic phenomena of the 21st century: Mel's Hole. The folklore surrounding the phenomenon even deemed it cursed, with early settlers dubbing it the Devil's Hole. Despite repeated inquiries, Mel adamantly withheld the precise location, vaguely mentioning Kittitas County, Washington, near the Manastash Ridge. Subsequent calls from Mel in April 2000 and January 2002 only served to escalate the fantastical nature of his tales. Little did anyone realize at the time that Mel's Hole would continue to captivate public interest for years to come, including criticism. Critics have lambasted Coast to Coast AM for its propagation of pseudo-historical and pseudo-scientific concepts. Historian Ronald H. Fritz went so far as to label the show as a prime example of modern media's tendency to disseminate inaccurate historical narratives and unfounded scientific claims.
Barbara informed Julie that her father was not Ted Wells, but the man whose party they had just visited. Julie kept this information to herself and even from her siblings until her memoir was released. The man who was her biological father, however, did try to reach out to Julie at the peak of her career. He showed up at an after-party, and Julie recalled not liking his attitude and the fact that he tried to hone in on something that should have been her dad's province. Julie still considered Ted Wells her father, although she was forcibly made to call her stepfather Pop by her mother. Barbara, Julie's mother, was a gifted classical pianist who, like her father before her, and like her second husband, succumbed to alcoholism. Julie's saving grace from her twisted family dynamic occurred when the war ended and her family recovered financially. Ted, who was a vocalist, often performed with Barbara, and the couple saw an improvement in their theatrical careers and were soon able to move into a better home. They moved back to Ted's hometown, West Groove, in Hersham, and Julie often joined them in their acts performing on stage. She would at the time stand on a beer crate to sing into a microphone, either performing a solo or a duet with her stepfather, with her mother playing the piano. For her, even though the performance wasn't very coherent, she enjoyed it. Early career beginnings. Julie's passion and display of talent led her stepfather, Andrews, to give Julie the career breakout she needed. He agreed to sponsor her training at the Independent Arts Educational School, Cone Ripman School in London. Additionally, he agreed to sponsor her voice lessons from concert soprano singer and voice instructor Lillian Stiles Allen. Andrews also introduced Julie to managing director Val Parnell, whose Moss Empires controlled prominent performance venues in London. So at the tender age of 12, Julie made her professional solo debut singing Je suis Titania at the London Hippodrome. This transpired in 1947, and her performance was so well received that she was invited to continue to perform at the Hippodrome for 1 year.
Additionally, Mel shared intriguing details about the peculiar occurrences around the hole on his property. He described witnessing a solid black beam emanating from the depths, resembling a searchlight piercing the sky, devoid of any discernible end and seemingly absorbing surrounding light. This revelation prompted Art Bell to extend another invitation to Mel for a follow-up call on the show. During this subsequent appearance, Mel divulged receiving communication from his real estate agent regarding potential interest in purchasing his property, hinting at lucrative prospects despite the absence of a formal offer. Moreover, Mel recounted encounters with locals who speculated about the hole's ancient origins, suggesting that it may have existed since time immemorial, with mentions of stone columns akin to those found at Stonehenge. As the conversation unfolded, a caller pointed out the proximity of Mel's property to the Yakima Training Center, a government facility, providing a plausible explanation for the swift military intervention. The Yakima Training Center, designated as YTC-1, stands as a vital United States Army training facility. It serves as a hub for maneuver training, rigorous testing of the land warrior system, and a dynamic live-fire exercise zone. Situated in the heart of south-central Washington state, its borders are demarcated by Interstate 82 to the west, the city of Yakima to the south, the city of Ellensburg and Interstate 90 to the north, and the mighty Columbia River to the east. Operating within the purview of Joint Base Lewis McChord, it plays an integral role in enhancing military readiness and capabilities. However, amidst discussions about UFO sightings and peculiar phenomena in the area, listeners cautioned Mel to exercise caution. Despite the audience's interest and anticipation for his return, little did they anticipate that Mel would not resurface until 3 years later, leaving his story shrouded in mystery. Number 13. The infinite void tested with fishing line. As darkness enveloped the depths, rendering them impenetrable, Mel's curiosity drove him to measure the unfathomable depth of the hole. Dropping heavy tools failed to yield any audible confirmation, prompting an inventive test involving Lifesavers candies attached to a fishing line. If the candy dissolved, it would indicate the presence of water. However, after 1,500 feet, the candy emerged intact, baffling Mel. Undeterred, he acquired numerous spools of fishing line, each adorned with weights, yet the hole voraciously consumed them without pause. After unwittingly deploying around 80,000 feet of line over 15 miles, Mel realized the hole had no end in sight. Seeking assistance, Mel contacted Art to devise a plan to mark the pit's depth. Suggestions of lowering a volunteer were met with skepticism due to potential dangers. Toxic gases and immense pressure posed significant risks. Despite offers from callers willing to descend, Mel refused, unwilling to bear responsibility for any harm that might befall them. In a surprising revelation, Mel expressed a willingness to plunge into the pit if faced with a terminal illness, believing in its mysterious powers of rejuvenation. The discussion stretched into the night, with callers sharing their theories about the strange phenomenon. Mel's hole became the focal point of the evening, ensuring its status as a coast-to-coast topic for years to come. Number 12. A neighbor's dog returned from the grave. During his phone interview from Ellensburg, Washington, approximately 80 miles from his property, Mel revealed that he had purchased the Manastash property a few years prior, and the mysterious hole had always been present. According to Mel, everyone in the vicinity, including his neighbors, was well acquainted with the hole's existence and would routinely dispose of garbage in it, discarding everything from broken machinery to trash, rocks, and disturbingly, even a deceased dog on one occasion. Mel proceeded to recount a peculiar anecdote reminiscent of Stephen King's 1983 horror novel and its 1989 film adaptation, Pet Sematary. In this tale, a neighbor chose to use the hole as a makeshift grave for his deceased dog instead of burying it conventionally. A few days later, to the hunter's astonishment, his faithful dog, Ryder's Reign, was spotted trotting through the woods unscathed. However, the dog displayed peculiar behavior, ignoring calls and whistles and appearing as if it were on a hunting spree. The neighbor, convinced it was his dog due to the familiar collar, witnessed this baffling event. It became apparent that Mel's hole was more than just a mere cavity. It resembled a well-like pit, measuring slightly over 9 feet across, with stone retaining walls on its sides and extending downwards by several feet. Many people who believe and can narrate the stories associated with Mel's hole can't give its exact location. Instead, they say the government seized the region and probably covered what was supposed to be a bottomless pit. According to the legend's owner, Mel Water, you can find the hole near the Manastash Ridge, about 9 miles south of Ellensburg. Number 11. The tantalizing trail of an elusive legend. Mel's inability to furnish concrete photographic evidence adds another layer to the mystery surrounding this phenomenon. However, it's important to acknowledge that the absence of such evidence doesn't necessarily negate the existence of Mel's hole or the reported strange phenomena associated with it. Since its initial mention on the radio show years ago, Mel's hole has sustained a consistent level of intrigue. This urban legend has persisted, captivating the minds of many, with discussions flourishing in various online forums over the years. From active debates on platforms like Above Top Secret in 2005 to discussions on the Sheffield Forum in 2007, interest in the topic has remained robust. In 2002, a team of 30 individuals, led by Gerald Osborne, embarked on an expedition in search of the purported hole but failed to locate it. Jack Powell, a geologist from the State Department of Natural Resources, refuted the existence of the hole, deeming it geologically implausible. Powell argued that a hole of the alleged depth would collapse due to immense pressure and heat from the surrounding layers. Upon hearing the radio show's claim about Mel's hole being situated on Manastash Ridge and reaching a staggering depth of over 80,000 feet, Powell couldn't continue listening. He immediately recognized the implausibility of such a depth. Being well-versed in geological records, Powell knew that the deepest mine shaft in the world descended only 12,672 feet, and the deepest known cavern reached a depth of 7,188 feet. Even the Russians' most ambitious borehole in 1989 only reached 40,230 feet. Powell, drawing from his extensive 30-year experience exploring eastern Washington's geology, especially in lower Kittitas County and Manastash Ridge, found the claims dubious. He explained that geologically and physically, a hole of that depth was simply impossible, as it would collapse under the immense pressure and heat of the surrounding strata. Speculating on the origin of the story, Powell suggested that the real hole northwest of Ellensburg, situated on private property and fenced with barbed wire, might have inspired Mel Water's tales. He speculated that Waters may have used this actual hole as inspiration for his mysterious creation on Manastash Ridge. Geologist Pat Pringle expressed skepticism towards Waters' claims of lowering 80,000 feet of fishing line into the hole, asserting that the Earth's heat would have caused the line to snap long before reaching such depths. Investigations by local news reporters failed to uncover any public records of a person named Mel Waters, residing in or owning property in Kittitas County. In 2008, the legend received a boost from tribal medicine man Gerald R. Osborne, also known as Red Elk, who claimed to have witnessed UFOs hovering over the pit, proposing the idea of an underground UFO base. This further stoked speculation regarding the hole's origins and purpose. Even in 2012, a Facebook poll conducted by the Daily Record revealed sustained interest in the story, showing that curiosity about Mel's hole hadn't waned over time. Some enthusiasts on Reddit even exchanged coordinates in attempts to locate it. forming groups dedicated to the search. The enduring allure of Mel's Hole is evident in its continued presence in popular culture. It was featured in a podcast called Astounding Legends in May 2022, and later discussed in an article on grunge in November of the same year. As it stands, Mel's Hole persists as an urban legend with an uncertain future, its mystery seemingly boundless. Number 10. Strange phenomena and otherworldly transmissions. In another intriguing revelation, Waters disclosed peculiar phenomena surrounding Mel's Hole, captivating Art Bell and his audience. He described how ordinary metal objects and portable radios exhibited strange behaviors when in proximity to the 9-foot-wide opening. Waters asserted that metals would inexplicably transform into different substances merely by being brought close to the entrance. Furthermore, he recounted an incident where he positioned his radio near the pit, expecting to tune into his favorite station, only to encounter a bizarre transmission. Instead of familiar music, the radio emitted enigmatic voices, unknown programs, and melodies from bygone eras. Number 9. Unsettling experiments and unexplained phenomena at Mel's Hole. Waters described many of his experiments at the pit, and each one seemed to produce a more unsettling result than the last. In one of his final calls, Waters described lowering a bucket of ice down to 1,500 feet, and when he lifted it out, he noticed that the ice was warm but did not melt. He said it had changed into a flammable substance. The warm ice was not the only time that his experiments defied the laws of science. When he yelled down into the hole, he claimed there was no echo. There was also no sound after large trash items, such as refrigerators or television CRT tubes, were thrown into the pit to confirm that they had hit bottom. Number 8. The mysterious disappearance of Mel and the twists of Mel's Hole. For over 3 years, Mel seemed to vanish without a trace, leaving many wondering about his whereabouts. However, in 2002, Art Bell finally managed to locate him and invited him back onto the show. During the interview, Mel recounted details about the hole, confirming his memory of the events. But then, he dropped a bombshell revelation. Mel disclosed that he had been offered a staggering $250,000 per month for a perpetual lease on the property. The catch? He had to accept the money, remain silent about the pit, and relocate. Without hesitation, Mel accepted the offer and relocated to Australia. When Art Bell inquired about his absence from the show and lack of communication from Australia, Mel shared a harrowing ordeal. In December 1999, while en route to appear on the show, Mel found himself embroiled in a bizarre incident. After assisting his nephew with a move in the Olympia area, their bus was intercepted by transit authorities following an altercation on board. Subsequently, Mel woke up disoriented in a dirt alley in San Francisco, missing personal belongings, with an IV tape attached to his arm, and discovering that his molars had been extracted while unconscious. Upon returning to Olympia, Mel faced further challenges as his ex-wife, the property owner, filed a lawsuit against him for allegedly violating the terms of their original lease, including accusations of unauthorized construction projects, which Mel vehemently denied. Number 7. Mel's Hole Eerie Black Beam. The array of eerie occurrences recounted by Waters during his appearances on Coast to Coast AM extended beyond objects lowered into the void. Occasionally, unsettling phenomena emerged from the depths as well. Waters shared a disturbing account relayed by a neighbor who witnessed a blacker-than-black beam of light emanating from the cursed pit. Described as akin to a flashlight emitting a solid black beam instead of the typical whitish glow, the sight was profoundly ominous. Black, often associated with notions of evil, death, and emptiness, heightened the eerie aura of the mysterious pit. One of the intriguing paranormal facets of Mel's Hole revolves around this purported black beam that emits from its depths. Red Elk, a Native American shaman, likened the phenomenon to flushing a toilet, except instead of descending, the beam ascends into the sky, resembling a dark flashlight during daylight hours. He also claimed that his father had initially shown him this seemingly bottomless pit in 1961. Red Elk claimed that every time he visited the hole, peculiar occurrences would transpire. leading him to believe that the area was somehow associated with what he termed the Devil's Hole. The narrative became even more intriguing when Red Elk disclosed that the government maintained a highly classified underground facility near Mel's Hole. He went so far as to assert that he had witnessed alien activity in the vicinity, including the presence of a massive spacecraft hovering over the hole during the summer solstice. Red Elk described encountering strange alien beings and unusual fauna around the hole, which he believed possessed the ability to rejuvenate living organisms. Convinced that Mel's Hole served as a gateway to other dimensions or realms, Red Elk regarded it as a portal to unknown realms. However, the extraordinary claims of spacecraft and aliens make it challenging to discern the truth. Nevertheless, Red Elk remained steadfast in his belief that this enigmatic pit harbored mystical secrets beyond comprehension, adding another layer of mystery to its lore. Reports of entities within the hole further add to its mystique. Number 6. The Dime from Oblivion. What captured the imagination most about Mel's tale was the enigmatic dime that held a pivotal role. Mel crafted 10 unique belt buckles, each fashioned from a bent fork, stones, and coins discovered around the site. Among these, he had incorporated 10 Roosevelt dimes procured from a mysterious red Chinese lucky money envelope. Following his unsettling experience in San Francisco, Mel realized that his belt buckle, housing one of these dimes, had gone missing. Tracking down a buyer of his custom belt, he uncovered a startling revelation. The dime bore the year 1943, despite no dimes featuring Roosevelt's portrait in that year. Even more peculiar was the presence of the letter B on the coin, an anomaly as no city associated with U.S. currency minting has ever commenced with that letter. Perplexed by these findings, Mel sought appraisal from a coin expert, only to have the coin confiscated by the Treasury Department shortly after. Richard C. Hoagland, a renowned physicist, theorist, and alien researcher, later posited that these coins might originate from a parallel universe. This raised intriguing questions. If the coins near Mel's Hole indeed hail from another dimension, could the hole serve as an interdimensional gateway? And if so, are there other seemingly bottomless pits scattered across the globe, functioning similarly as portals to alternate realities? Number 5. The Screaming Hole. Following Mel's rise to fame, a Native American group from Nevada reached out to him after hearing him on a program. They extended an invitation via email, inviting him to their reservation to discuss a peculiar pit with origins dating back to the 1800s. Situated in an old town inhabited by numerous Basque settlers, this pit held significant cultural and spiritual importance. The Basques, a small and relatively isolated ethnic group from Europe, primarily engaged in sheep farming in Nevada. The similar hole akin to Mel's Hole, referred to as the Devil's Gate or Satan's Hole by locals. According to their beliefs, this hole served as a portal to the spirit realm, a sacred space inhabited by supernatural entities and souls of the underworld. Those daring enough to approach its edge reported eerie experiences, including unsettling whispers, eerie humming, and voices speaking in unfamiliar languages emanating from its depths. Some even claimed to have witnessed ghostly lights and shadows moving along the edges of the hole. They revered the pit as sacred ground, akin to Mel's Hole, although it differed in appearance, a 9-foot-wide hole with a metal collar and a notch at the top. The metal collar emitted warmth to the touch and remained silent when struck. Additionally, animals exhibited fear towards this pit, mirroring Mel's observations. Curiosity piqued, and Mel and the villagers conducted several tests on the pit. One such experiment involved lowering a living being into its depths. Opting for a sheep, similar to Mel's own experience, they encountered unexpected chaos. The sheep resisted vehemently, thrashing and kicking as it was lowered into the hole. Eventually subdued and dropped halfway in, the sheep awoke with a blood-curdling scream that echoed before its sudden demise. Disturbed by the turn of events, the villagers swiftly retrieved the sheep, but Mel observed that it was lifeless. The cause of its demise remains a mystery. Number 4. Time's Twisted Vortex. One remarkable aspect of Mel's Hole is the assertion that it possesses the ability to warp and manipulate time. According to various accounts, time seems to exhibit erratic behavior in the vicinity of the hole. Some witnesses have described instances where time appears to slow down or accelerate, while others have reported encountering time loops or even experiencing episodes of time travel. Among the most compelling tales of time, distortion linked to Mel's hole is recounted by a man named Phil Bailey. Bailey claimed to have encountered a peculiar time anomaly when he and a friend stumbled upon the hole while hiking in the area. As they approached, Bailey suddenly felt dizzy and disoriented. The next thing he knew, 5 hours had elapsed, leaving his friend anxiously searching for him. Bailey's experience is just one of numerous accounts detailing time disturbances associated with Mel's hole. Some individuals have asserted glimpses of future or past events while in its proximity, while others have recounted instances of completely losing track of time altogether. Number 3. Unraveling the cryptic depths of an earthly enigma. Throughout the years, Mel's hole has persisted as an enigmatic puzzle that has confounded countless individuals. Various theories have emerged in attempts to unravel the mysteries contained within its depths, yet none have fully encapsulated its essence. One prevailing theory proposes that Mel's hole could be a volcanic cave, a product of ancient lava flows from volcanic vents or fissures known as lava tubes. Given Washington's location atop a highly active volcanic hotspot, it's conceivable that Mel's hole originated as a resilient lava tube thousands of years ago. However, this explanation falls short in accounting for all the peculiar phenomena associated with the hole. Another hypothesis is rooted in the hollow Earth theory, which posits that beneath the Earth's surface lies a hollow space. According to this theory, Mel's hole serves as a portal to the planet's empty interior, explaining why objects never seem to reach the bottom. While there are documentaries supporting this theory, it remains controversial and lacks endorsement from mainstream science. A third conjecture suggests that Mel's hole could be linked to a covert government project. The proximity of the pit to the Yakima Training Center lends credence to this notion. However, it raises questions about why the government would permit the hole to be used as a dumping ground for garbage over the years, adding layers of complexity to the mystery surrounding Mel's hole. Number 2. Mel's otherworldly warning. On December 20th, 2002, Mel Waters made his final appearance on Coast to Coast AM, delivering what would be his most astonishing narrative yet. He revealed a tale that sent shivers down listeners' spines. The Native Americans residing near the second hole were purportedly in communication with an interdimensional entity utilizing the hole as a conduit. According to Mel, this otherworldly creature possessed the ability to traverse between dimensions and issued a dire warning regarding the misuse of weaponry facilitated by the power of these holes. It cautioned that such actions could lead to our destruction, with opportunistic beings from other planets poised to colonize Earth in the aftermath. Following this broadcast, Mel Waters vanished without a trace, leaving behind a veil of uncertainty enveloping the true whereabouts of Mel's hole. The mystery surrounding the pit deepened, giving rise to a plethora of conspiracy theories speculating its nature and purpose, ranging from a clandestine military project to a gateway for time travel or interdimensional travel akin to the wormholes of quantum physics. Even more mysterious is the true identity of Mel Waters. When introducing himself to the radio station, Mel said he was familiar with Central Washington University and his wife worked there. However, when journalists followed up, they discovered no one with such a name living in Kittitas County or a wife working at the institution. Who is Mel Waters? If his identity is in question, does that throw a shadow over the fabled hole? However, these enigmatic questions remain unanswered, seemingly lost to the annals of time, with all records of Mel Waters and his hole possibly erased from history. Number 1. A bottomless enigma, beckoning mankind's curiosity. The enigmatic nature of unexplained phenomena often catalyzes scientific inquiry and exploration. Indeed, Mel's hole has ignited the curiosity of numerous researchers and paranormal enthusiasts who have endeavored to unravel its mysteries. Over the years, a plethora of theories have emerged, each attempting to shed light on the enigma of Mel's hole. Some speculate that the hole could serve as an entrance to an underground civilization or a portal to an alternate dimension. Others theorize that its peculiar occurrences may be linked to ley lines, invisible energy pathways believed to crisscross the Earth. According to this notion, Mel's hole could reside at a potent intersection of these lines, accounting for its anomalous properties. Despite the multitude of theories surrounding Mel's hole, the truth remains elusive. Concrete evidence supporting any explanation has yet to surface, leaving the mystery unresolved. Nonetheless, the enduring allure of Mel's hole persists, captivating the imagination of people worldwide. Whether attributed to natural phenomena, government conspiracy, or something more enigmatic, Mel's hole remains one of the most intriguing mysteries of our time. While skeptics may dismiss it as mere folklore concocted for attention, those who have encountered its peculiar effects firsthand attest to its undeniable existence. Perhaps one day, new evidence will come to light, unraveling the true nature of Mel's hole and the phenomena it encompasses. Until then, the mystery endures, beckoning those who seek to delve into the unknown realms of our world and beyond. Thanks for watching. Check out another interesting video by clicking on the link appearing on your screen right now. See you on the other side.